Hey, I'm Nikki from Fender Play, the complete online guitar learning platform. We believe anyone can learn guitar, and in a second, we're giving you a free Green Day song lesson that'll help you get started. With our bite-sized lessons and song-driven approach, Fender Play makes it easy to master new chords and skills as you play your favorite songs. Even if you're just starting out, this lesson will get you playing a legendary Green Day song in no time. Enjoy this sample and then click the link in the description to start for free with Fender Play today. This lesson, we're gonna learn Brain Stew by Green Day. We have a handful of power chords that we'll be working with, and the techniques include a 16th note strumming pattern. We also have percussive strumming, and we have string muting with the fret hand and the strum hand. The sections we'll cover are the riff, the interlude, verse 2, and the outro. This is a slightly modified arrangement. The original recording is tuned a half step down, but this lesson is for standard tuning. So make sure you're in tune, and let's get started. Let's learn the riff to Brain Stew by Green Day. This is the progression that you'll hear throughout the entire song, and this is how the riff sounds for the intro and the verse. 2, 3, 4. For the fret hand, we start off with the A5 power chord. This is a 3-note power chord. First finger is gonna go on the E string, 5th fret, and your 3rd and 4th fingers are gonna go on the 7th fret of the A and D strings. Next up, we have the G5. You're gonna keep that power chord formation and shift downward so your first finger is on the 3rd fret, and then your 3rd and 4th fingers are gonna be on the 5th fret. Then we have F sharp 5, move down 1 fret, so now we're on frets 2 and 4. And then we have F5, 1st and 3rd frets. And last, we have the open E5 power chord. That's gonna be the open E string, and then we have the 2nd fret of the A and D strings. You can use just your first finger and bar those two, or you can use your 1st and 2nd finger as well. Let's take a look at those power chords from over the shoulder. Here's A5, G5, F sharp 5, F5, and E5. Now let's walk through the progression. For the first bar, we have A5 to G5. Then the second bar, we have F sharp 5, then F5 to E5. Make sure you keep your fingers in that power chord formation as you transition from chord to chord. And that progression is gonna repeat 4 times. Now let's get to the strum hand. We have a 2-bar rhythm pattern with 16th notes and string muting. So we need to count 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. We're gonna start off with 2 down strums on 1 E for the A5, and then we're gonna mute the strings with the strum hand. So far we have 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Then we're gonna shift to G5. We have 2 strikes there, and then we mute the strings. 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Next bar, we're off to F sharp 5, striking on 1 E, then we have string muting. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Then we're off to F5 to E5. This time we have F5 on 3E, then E5 on 4E. And we're gonna have string muting for the other beats. 3E and a, 4E and a. The 4th time around, when we get to F5 to E5, we're gonna leave out the string muting and let the chords ring out a bit. So we have 3E and a 4E and a. Let's try putting it all together. Get ready on that A5, and I'll count you in. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a repeat. G5, F sharp 5, F5, E5. Third time through. Last time, G5. Now open it up, 3E and a 4E and a. And there's your riff. Now we're on to the interlude. We're working with the same progression, but now we have a percussive strum in place of the string muting. It sounds like this. 3 and a 4 and a. So for the fret hand, we have no new chords to learn, but we do have some string muting with the fret hand. So when you're done strumming your power chord, you're gonna lift up the pressure on the strings, but you're still gonna maintain contact. And you actually wanna lay your first finger across all 6 strings if you can. And you can basically retain your power chord shape still. And then when we strike the strings, it creates a muted sound. So for the strum hand, we're gonna strike our power chords the same beats as the riff, but in between, we have 16th note percussive strums, and we're gonna have a down, up, strumming pattern the entire time. It's gonna sound like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Now here's a couple things to keep in mind. As you're shifting to the next power chord, you can maintain the string muting with your fret hand as you shift to the next chord. This will help you have a smooth transition. And if you hear some harmonics with your percussive strums, don't be afraid. This song has a little bit of a wild kind of vibe with those percussive strums. So basically, the more the better. Let's try playing the interlude 2 times in a row. Get ready on that A5, I'll count you in. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. And that's it for the interlude. Verse 2 is almost exactly the same as the interlude. We just have a variation with the percussive strum. It sounds like this. So for the fret hand, there's nothing new to learn here, so let's jump right to the strum hand. First, I need you to try counting 1E and a 2 and a 3E and a 4 and a. Now the power chord strikes are gonna happen to the same beat as the riff. In between though, we have a variation with our 16th notes. So we have down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Then you'll continue on to G5, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. F sharp 5, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. And then when we get to F5 to E5, we have the same percussive strum as the interlude. Now you can strum a bit lighter for verse 2. We don't have the wild harmonics like we did in the interlude. You can actually lighten up by strumming less strings. That'll help you out. We're gonna play it 4 times in a row. And when you get to the last time around, F5 to E5, you're gonna open up the chords just like the riff. Let's try it together. Get ready, I'll count you in. 1E and a 2 and a 3E and a 4 and a 1E and a 2 and a 3E and a 4 and a 1E and a 2 and a 3E and a 4E and a. Second time through. Third time. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Last time. And there's verse 2. For the outro, we're working with the same progression, but with a different dynamic. We need a really big sound for the ending. It sounds like this. 3E and a 4E and a. Now for the fret hand, we have nothing new to learn, but you might have noticed that I added the open E string in between some of my power chords. This is a real common technique that you'll find in alternative rock and punk. So let's walk through the chord progression and let's be mindful of where those open E strings occur. We have A5, open G5, F sharp 5, open F5, E5. So F5 to E5, you're gonna play that exactly like you would in the previous sections where we leave out the string muting. Let's zero in on the strum hand. It's almost identical to previous sections. We don't have any string muting. We're gonna let those power chords ring out, and we need to throw in an extra eighth note strum, and then we throw in that open E string. So we'll be counting 1E and a 2, and 3E and a 4, and 1E and a 2, and 3E and a 4. For the strumming pattern, you can just stick to downward motions, or you can go down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 down. Whatever works for you. You'll play this section 4 times, and then we're gonna strike A5 2 more times as if we're repeating the progression a 5th time through, but it's actually the ending. So you have 2 strikes, and then you let it ring out for the remainder of the bar. Now let's put it all together. Get ready and I'll count you in. 1E and a 2, and 3E and a 4, and 1E and a 2, and 3E and a 4, and 1E and a 2, and 3E and a 4. Third time. Last time. A5, let it ring out. And that's the outro. Let's play through a shorter version of the song together. We'll run through the riff, then the interlude, then verse 2, then the outro. Get ready and I'll count you in. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. And we repeat. Third time through. Last time. Interlude. Last time through. Verse 2. Down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up. Third time through. Last time. outro. A5, G5, F sharp 5, F5, D5. Third time. Last time through. And on A5. So there you have it. This song is perfect for getting more comfortable with power chords. And if those percussive strums are giving you trouble, then just leave them out until you feel more comfortable with the technique. Have fun practicing, and I'll see you next time.
So how'd it go? If you're ready to learn more, sign up and access over 1,000 song lessons that will keep you inspired to play. And if that was a little bit too challenging, sign up with Fender Play and we'll get you learning the skills you need to play the songs you love.